college class, on December 19, got out of a test where a good friend of the family came to tell me my mother had been murdered the night before.
Jesus.
Okay. Then she was killed on December 19, 1968. And like on February 24th, my father was arrested. Okay. There's a lot of drama in between. I never liked my dad. From an early age, I knew he could not be trusted. But just because I didn't like him didn't mean he did it. Okay. So I'm in his trial, and my brother was in law school, and we had to go back for the trial to take our exams. For 15 years, I didn't know whether he killed her or not. There was a huge piece missing that I didn't know about. My mother gave her life protecting me, but she also left me extremely ignorant. Okay, there's my brother and I that were in our 20s, and we had sisters 12, 9, 6, and 5. When she was being killed, those children were in bed asleep. And then my father would leave the house for 3 hours. Anyway, I'll come back to that. Again, I'm trying to do this.
Oh,
Come in.
oh, well, no, I'm just, Betty asked me to just lock the door after everybody was gone.
Okay, well, we're not gone yet. So for 15 years, I was always a person of faith. Always, since I was a little girl. And so for 15, log this in. For 15 years, I prayed that we could prove his innocence. Now, in those 15 years, number one, my father never asked me, even when he was in prison, "Your mother's gone, how are you?" Never once. That he was in jail was our fault. But I would learn in life, he always blamed somebody else. He was never responsible. So at point 15 years, I'm in my early 30s, I finally said, "Lord, I can't keep doing this." I was a productive human being, but inside I was a mess. And so then I started praying, just tell me the truth. Just tell me the truth. Either tell me you're going to tell me, or tell me you're not going to tell me, but I cannot go on like this. Well, with that prayer, in looking back, I realized that while I was praying for my dad to be innocent, the Lord could only say no because he wasn't. And so, as I'm saying, just give me the truth. Doors opened that had not been opened. I was able to get a hold of my dad's transcript, court transcript. And a district attorney who was a friend of a friend volunteered to work with me for nothing. And as I got the transcript, that young attorney said, "I don't know if I can tell you innocent or guilt, but I will be able to tell you if he had a fair trial." And we were meeting in a shopping center. He was reading it. I promised his attorney that I'd get it back to him in 2 weeks. And my word is important to me. So Leslie and I would meet at a shopping center, and he would give me what he'd read so that I can be reading. In reading that, again, I'm doing this really briefly, I realized that my father was guilty. There was a lot of things I didn't know, but I knew he was guilty. And so from there, the attorney, unbeknownst to me until we had finished reading the transcript, had made notes. And the Lord would use those notes to fill in the holes. What the Lord first did after I initially knew he had done it is he gave me all the parts that at one time could have been proven. And that was from the time my mother was dead going forward. So I had the parts of all those parts. And then he gave me a rest. And I thought he was done. But my sister, who was a fence sitter, I said, "Well, that's it." And she says, "I don't know. You know a whole lot more now than you did 6 months ago." So after the rest, then he took me back, step by step, from the kitchen and being dead to Mom being alive, back to the front door. So that now I can walk you through the entire thing. There's only one thing I don't know. My 9-year-old sister was an eyewitness. And after my dad left, she got up and cleaned up the murder scene, including, 9 years old, taking the axe and trying to wash it off in the bathroom.
Oh, Jesus.
That she's around my mother's body. My mother's face was just, I never saw her, but she was just, she was gone with the first blow. And Stacy put big paper towels over her face. And she washed the murder weapon off. And the kitchen is connected to the utility room. And she was going to go outside to hide it. But she was too scared. So she put it behind the washing machine. Now, my mother might have put it between the washer and dryer, but she would have never put it back there. I called the police because we knew she had been bludgeoned to death. And I don't think they ever understood that, she knows the story, it's okay. They never understood that they had the murder weapon in their hands. She left the bath water on, never turned it off, and went back to bed. Okay. To this day, she has never told anyone.
How did you find
You all
out?
have a bulletin.